Hello, and today I'm going to be doing my January TBR. I am so excited to start the new year, and I'm hoping that it will be a better one than it was before. So I broke up the books that I want to read into 3 different categories, and I'm going to start with the book first that didn't fit into any of the categories, and that is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This I want to read this month because last month I read In a Holidays, and it was not my favorite Christina Lauren, but even in like a book that I didn't love as much, I got really into their writing style again, and I really wanted to read another book by them, and this one is actually one that I haven't read yet, surprisingly. But this is about a boy named Tanner Scott who goes to this camp for Mormons. It's like a summer camp, I think, and he basically falls in love, but I mean, they're both Mormon, obviously, and I mean, it's not good to be gay if you're Mormon, so I am very excited to read this. I am hoping that, well, I know it's going to be a very powerful and sad book, and I'm very excited to read this one. The first section of books that I want to read are for the Buzz Wordathon this month. I am very excited to hopefully get to some of these books. I don't think I'm going to get to all of them just because it's already the 3rd or 4th day of the month as I'm filming this, and I haven't started reading yet. But hopefully I'll get to some of these, and if I have to get to some of them later in the month, then that's fine. But the Buzz Wordathon is a readathon that is hosted by Books and Lala. It starts on the 1st of every month and ends on the 7th of every month, and it's basically where you read books with a certain word in the title. And the word for this month is dreams. So I have a lot of exciting books to read. The first book I want to read is Where Dreams Ascend by Janella Angels. And this book, I don't know a lot about it. All I know is it's about magicians and they battle, and that sounds pretty cool. And there's like a whole magician's war going on. So it sounds like a very enjoyable read. The next book I want to read is Fever Dream by Samantha Schwibben. I probably didn't say that right. This is a horror novel, and again, I don't know a lot about this one. What I do know is that it's supposed to be just what the title says, and it's supposed to be just like a fever dream, which sounds delightful. The next book is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. This novel is about a woman who is dealing with an abusive relationship. It basically delves into different styles of telling a story, I think, to convey what she's going through, and several different genres, I think, and one of them I know is horror, but I think there's several. It just sounds like a really interesting novel. It's The Dream by Agatha Christie. The last book I want to read for the Buzz Wordathon is Dreams from My Father by Barack Obama. This is Barack Obama's biography. The next section of books I want to read are rereads, including 2 rereads that I have been going on and rereading each book of the series, and 1 new one that I want to start this month. I will talk about the ones that I am continuing to read first. The first book that I'm continuing to reread is Cress by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles, and this book series is about basically fairy tale retellings with sci-fi elements. This one is a retelling of Rapunzel, and I'm very interested in rereading this one just because I know the second and the third ones are my favorites out of the 4, and I am very excited to see which one that I like more, the second or the third, in this reread, because I feel like it switches every now and then. But yes, I adore this book. The next book series that I'm continuing to reread is Title by Marianne Hawking. This is another third book in a series, third book in a quartet actually, and this one is also my favorite, if I remember correctly. I've never reread the series, but this is about sirens. The last book that I want to reread is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a book about a teenage girl who moves to a new town and meets her next door neighbors who are twins, and she bonds a friendship with the girl and eventually a romance with the boy twin, and yeah, and they are supernatural entities. It's very Twilight-esque. The reason why I want to reread this is because I'm curious if I'd like it as much as I did when I was 14 as I would now as a 20-year-old. So I'm very nervous to read this, but I'm very curious to see if I would still like this. So now we're gonna get into my jar picks. I'm gonna pick 5 of the pieces of paper with the prompts on them. Pick a book for those prompts. If I read all 5 of them this month, it's fine. No one hauling has to happen. If I read most of them and there's like 1 or 2 left that I still really want to read, then I put them on next month's TBR. But with next month's TBR, there's going to be 5 more picks, so it might be more difficult to get to them. And if I do not get to them, then we are unhauling them. The first pick is set in a city you want to visit, which honestly could be any city other than Ohio. I am going to go with Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. This is the second book in the Discovery of Witches trilogy. This takes place in London, which is probably the #1 city or, you know, place I want to go. And yeah, so I'm very excited to, well, I'm very tentative to pick this up because I tried to read it before and I DNF'd it. I just did not like it as much as the first one at all. But I am tentatively excited to try and read this again, especially because season 2 of the show is going to be released, I think, this month. New to you author. That I'm going to go with Love Interest by Cale Dietrich. About 2 guys who go to this academy to be love interests, I'm pretty sure. And one is the bad guy and one is the boy next door and one is like the bad boy. And they have to like fight to win this woman over, I guess. And I think one of them, whoever the girl doesn't choose will die. And they end up falling for each other. So I think this is a very interesting concept and I'm very excited to read this book. Non-human main character. I'm going with The Damned by Renee Ahdieh, and one of my characters is a non-human main character. Written in 2010. This was written in 2018, so I'm going with this one, The Bird and the Blade. I don't remember a lot about the synopsis of this book. All I remember is that I think it has to do with trials and forbidden love, and I think it's really sad. So this one is the last pick. LGBT. And for this one, I'm going to read Mad About Hatter, which is a book about Mad Hatter, and it is gay, so very excited to read that one. All the books that I will be reading in January. Thank you for watching.